my Tour Divide bike for 2024, so I figured I'd just do a little bike check having finished. It's a Y-Cycles Wayward V1 frame, titanium. I was able to get some V2 dropouts from Rebel bikes, and with a little modification I was able to fit those in so that I could run SRAM GX transmission. I think I only used 5 full battery charges on the entire trail, which is pretty amazing. I've got a wolf tooth camo spider up here with a 34 tooth chainring, which seemed to work well for me. I'd never used anything bigger than a 32 before. Race face next carbon cranks. Those came on this frame when I bought it used, actually. Those were great, except I'm pretty sure they're shot now because one of the threaded inserts in the pedal is loose. Hi, Leia. Pretty sure the bottom bracket's shot as well. It's been grinding since like Montana or something. Crank Brothers double shot 2 pedals so I could flip them over. I only did that once, and it was up in Montana when we came out of some really wet weather, and my feet were just entirely soaked, and rode in sandals for a while to try and let my feet or my shoes dry. I probably wouldn't run double-sided pedals again. Not really worth it. As far as what's controlling the drivetrain, I've got SRAM Force axis shifters up here. Kept fatigue down on the fingers. I'd never run a drop bar setup before either, so that's new to me. Shifting with these and having all the different hand positions is really nice. Speaking of the drop bars, these are Redshift top shelf drop bars, so they have quite a good rise in them, and then they've got a crossbar to mount aero bars to, which is exactly what I did. So I've got this set of aero bars, which are some older carbon profile design. Yeah, I just got them on Facebook Marketplace and they worked out great. And paired up to the shifters, I've got the little clicks so I can shift from the aero bars too, which is really cool. Let's see what else. I got a RockShox Sid Select Plus fork from a few years ago, 2 position, nothing special, but I could lock it out when I was on road rides and stuff like that. Hunt proven carbon race XC wheels. The front one I laced up to a Sun 28 dynamo hub, which worked out perfectly. Charged my devices, kept my Garmin going, charged my cache battery, and it's also hooked up to a K-light front light here, which I had some trouble with mounting because with all this stuff going on in the handlebars, I couldn't use the mount that came with it. So I tried to use some GoPro mounts that I got finagled just before the start of the race, and those ended up breaking about 15 miles in. So with some zip ties and a ton of electrical tape and the remnants of the GoPro mounts, I was able to bodge it on there and pretty much survived to the end. It didn't give a good wash, like a great wash of light being mounted that low above the tire, but I was able to do the riding that I needed to do with it. It's got SRAM level brakes that are compatible with these force levers. I've got a wolf tooth titanium bottle cage down here. SRAM HS2 rotors. Yeah, that's about it for the frame and the bike itself. I've got the Restrap Race, I think it's like a 2-liter top tube bag. I basically kept my cache battery, my phone, snacks. These are some gummies that I still have left. I would usually pack some Snickers bars in the back here just for easy access. So this thing worked out really well. I kind of wish it had a little dividing compartment up front, which maybe I'll modify it to work with that so that all my stuff doesn't slide back when I don't have as many snacks in it. Oh, I do have a dropper post on here as well. With having the pack back here, it's just kind of, you can't really get off the back end anyway. You end up sitting on this regardless. So, but I actually rode Fleecer Ridge on the way down, so it was nice to sort of get this out of the way for that. Moving on with bags. When I bought the frame used, it actually came with this, I believe it's a Rockgeist bag, and it's held up great, just getting a little faded around the edges. Still holding up great, not tearing apart or anything like that. The tail fin alloy aero pack here, this thing worked great. Super solid unit, very happy with it. Quite expensive, even for the alloy one, but still very happy. This is a Restrap Race aero bar mount bag. Been really happy with this. These little feed bag / bottle bag things here, they're just off of Amazon. They were pretty cheap. They actually started busting apart at the seams. I ended up sewing them back with some dental floss in Pinedale, Wyoming, and then they started ripping again by the end, so they never dropped anything. So, you know, for whatever they were, $10 a piece, can't complain too much. You can see my tracker mounted back here is actually, I had my sandals back there too, and then the tracker was strapped to my sandals. It was all sort of one unit back here. Back here, essentially my toiletries bag that just has like chamois cream, Neosporin, Band-Aids, first aid kit, antibacterial wipes, toothbrush, toothpaste, floss, a rain kit. So I have a Black Diamond storm line, top shell, and rain pants, full zip, so I could actually put them on without taking my shoes off or anything like that pretty well without putting mud all on the inside of them, so that was nice. This is an enlightened equipment quilt, what I've had since I hiked the PCT. I love this thing. You can just open it up into a quilt, or you can sort of make it into like a partial mummy bag, which is great. Keeps me plenty warm. Never had any problems with being cold. This is an outdoor research helium bivvy. I would just wake up, the inside of this thing would be wet even if it was dry outside. Condensation, right? It's not really that surprising. Even with the head open, like, and just the bug net up, like there wasn't enough airflow in there to keep it from doing that. And then when it rained, it essentially got wet immediately, and I was just like sleeping in a wet sock, which is unacceptable to me. And you can't close a bivvy all the way without, you know, fear of potential suffocation, which I found out pretty early on. So I suffered with that through this trip. I will never use it again. I'm going to return that, and I'll be carrying a lightweight tent from now on. There's the pole to it. Foam pad, I've also had this since I did the PCT in 2017. I cut it down narrower just so it could fit better in the tail fin pack. Super happy with it. I've never had trouble with these. I have had trouble with inflatables. They always pop on me. This is a knife that I found on trail. I don't know why I picked it up. I could have probably just left it at a campground or something, but now I have it. Like I said, up here, this is where I had my cache battery, snacks, peach Sour Patch Kids. I think those are the best ones because peach, watermelon, strawberry, as far as I'm concerned. Just some extra wires and stuff up here. And here's the actual K-Lite USB charger. So I would have the little cord running out of there into here and just be charging things up. Kept the little flashlight up here. Still works. Didn't have to use it too much. Didn't bring a headlamp, only had that. In here, see this top pouch here was basically food storage. So there's some Fritos that I still have, chili cheese, some sunscreen, and some bug spray. Sunscreen I was reapplying all the time. You just get totally fried out there, so always have sunscreen. I kept my extra electronic stuffs in here as well. So my extra SRAM batteries, charger, some wall blocks. I had 2 wall blocks in case one of them went bad, and then some extra cordage. Some ball A straps, ski straps. These things saved my ass. I'll tell you about it when I talk about my failures in a few minutes. I'm so glad I had 2 of them. Tire pressure tire pressure gauge. I had 2 Tubelito type Pirelli Smart Tubes or something like that. Wolf tooth chain lube, all conditions. I started off with dry lube, but it would wash off in the wet conditions like super easy. So I ended up getting this in Helena when I replaced my chain and used it to the end. It worked great. Roll of electrical tape, spare cable, really only for the dropper post, I guess. Another water bottle just to up my capacity a little bit. And this water bottle here is actually my toolkit. Bunch of zip ties in here, some extra spokes as well, which thankfully I never needed. A Crank Brothers multi-tool, very useful. As far as the toolkit goes, I have it strapped into the cage just so it doesn't come out. Then also on this other side I had a Silka Tatico hand pump. This thing's great. It's got a little flexible hose. So you're not like torquing on your valve stem. Yeah, as far as toolkit goes, I've got a little patch kit in here. I've got a lube rag, got CO2, I've got a tire lever, big Leatherman type multi-tool in here, which was useful as well. Extra valve stem, extra chain link, extra cleat bolts, extra brake pads, and that's about it. Up here, the restrap bag, this basically just held my clothes. If I wasn't wearing something, it would just go in here. And then I would also use this with clothes in it for my pillow at night. So I had a down jacket, set of arm warmers, these cool blue leopard print leg warmers. This is a long sleeve sun shirt. I wore this for a good portion of the trail. That's a glove. Obviously I was just wearing my gloves. I had 2 pairs of socks, 1 pair of underwear. I had a buff. I had 2 chamois bibs. These are made by Beneath, so they're actually male specific. They have a little sort of cradle for your junk, which holds it up off the nose of the seat. It's nice to have two, because if you were out for a few days without being able to wash anything, you could sort of have something a little bit fresher. This is a little camp towel. These are my cold gloves. These are like some sort of, I think like fishermen in Japan use these. I think that's where these come from. They did work very nice. These are about a size too small for me, probably. It says that they're US large and Japan large. They might be a large in Japan, but they are not a large in the US. This is probably like a medium. I'd probably have to get like an XL or something like that, but they did work really well. What else? And then some headbands, which I didn't end up using. I just ended up using this hat instead. That was the front bag. Feed bags with water bottles. These two nipples facing forward is a little bit of an interesting look. What else? Garmin's mounted right here. That worked great. It's just a normal out front mount. And I actually had my aero bars set back from my handlebar itself, because I think this bike is a little bit too large for me, so I have a really short stem, and then I brought the aero bars back so I could be in a pretty comfortable position with those, but it all fit pretty well. My K-light switch is here. Yeah, that's about it. Problems that I experienced with my getup here. Got a slow leak in the rear tire. My bottom bracket's going.
Killed the bottom bracket too.
And then, like I said, the insert in the crank itself on this one appears to be loose. The main thing that happened, the frame ended up cracking on me about 100 miles north of Steamboat.
Well, bad news for me for now. I have a crack in my frame. I knew I had a decent buckle from a crash that I had a while ago, but I'd already ridden it, you know, hundreds of miles, but I guess the thousands of miles since that happened have now fatigued the metal to the point where it's cracked. So here's what it looks like. And it looks like that goes through all the way to the other side. So I could be fucked, which is a bummer, but I'm near Steamboat and I'm pretty sure there's some people that could weld titanium there, so we'll see. I'll have to do some research. Pray for me. Hopefully I can get to Steamboat.
But yeah, my frame cracked probably 3/4 of the way around the entire down tube up here. Steamboat has two titanium frame builders that I know of there. Bingham built. They were totally willing to take me in and do a quick fix to the frame that would get me to the border, and it did. So super happy with that. I think that means that this bike is pretty much done after this ride. I'll either have it as a piece of wall art from now on, or it'll be a permanent trainer bike. We'll see how that goes. I'm thinking wall art might be the ticket for that. But yeah, other than the cracked frame and some other small bits and bobs, I didn't run into any major problems on Tour Divide. I had some digestive issues for a few days, but that was about it. Slowed me down just a little bit. Frame break is what really slowed me down. I think it was the only day I went under 100 miles. I got like 49 miles or something like that. Other than that, everything worked great. I love the drop bar setup. It allowed me to move my hands around, you know, like everybody says. I'd never used aero bars before, but tucking into those was great. Super happy with how everything went. Obviously things could have gone better, but you know, they still went really well regardless, and I was able to finish, so that's a huge thing. That's about it. Revel, if you're watching this video and you want to hook me up with another frame or give me a deep discount or something like that, I'd be super happy about that, because I'd love to get another frame going for more adventures. So yeah, peace out.